So how did you guys figure out that your personalities being so different, you could blend it together and make it all work? So how did that happen?
I I think it honestly goes back to Amazon. So we used to work in the same team with Amazon, and we worked under the same senior level leader. So uh, we started figuring out our personalities pretty quickly, and we actually figured out we were meshing pretty well from that perspective. And then we always wanted to do real estate together.
Mike and I did, I think it was Fridays, we did coffee chats and we would dedicate 30 minutes just to talking about single families, Airbnbs, other investments, the bar. We talked shop and we knew each other from working together. We worked together for almost 2 years in the same org tree. And we felt finally, well, I had no idea what we were going into, but we knew that we would mesh well just based on our personalities. And a dream turned into a reality.
Welcome to REI Secrets Spilled, Fast Track to Riches. Today we have an incredible duo making waves in multifamily investing. Cooper, the dynamic cheetah, and Michael, the insightful owl. In just 10 months, they have scored from raising $550,000 on their first deal to an impressive 1.17 million on their latest project. Join us as we explore their time management strategies, how to find your niche in capital raising, and the lessons learned from their journey. Let's dive in. So, welcome, Cooper and Mike.
Thanks for having us, Sanjay.
Thanks for having us, Sanjay. We're super excited to be here.
Same here, man. I'm super excited about everything that you guys have been doing. We have personally partnered on 2 projects so far, and it's been a great experience. So I'm enjoying the entire thing, and I'm enjoying the growth you guys are seeing. But let me ask you this question: how did you find your niche for capital raising? Because I understand that in multifamily, a lot of people when they get started, right, they don't know what they should be doing. But looks like you guys understood that, I don't like to use the word capital raising, but you've been very successful in investor relationships. So how did you find that niche in investor relationships?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. We were blessed with an opportunity, and in this opportunity, we had 6 days to raise 550,000, and we started off not knowing anything. We started off, we were still 6 weeks into multifamily mindset training, and we called everyone that we knew. We were blessed with the opportunity. We raised the money. We closed the deal on this first deal. And after that opportunity, Mike and I had a deep conversation, very comprehensive. And we realized that we work at Amazon.com. And a lot of people go for a different type of niche. And we realized that we're in a building with 5,000 corporate employees that are mostly making 6 figures. And we figured that we had to find a way to monetize this. And it started out with just expressing like what we're doing with Amazon, what we're doing with real estate, talking about our deals. We both had single family houses, Airbnbs, other type of investments such as bars. And we went into speaking about real estate syndications. And Amazon employees, they get paid half in base stock and then half in salary and half in base stock. And we realized that they want the chance to diversify. And Mike and I started talking to Amazonians, and we realized merchandise was a big piece of that. And all of a sudden, we have 20 plus versions of CM Capital, when it goes from hats to t-shirts to polos to pants. all different styles. So it's all about finding what your niche is, whether that's doctors, dentists, tech, small business owners, finding your superpowers and then just playing on those.
Yeah, and I think if I could add on to that real quick, Sanjay, diversification there is pretty huge. It's cool because we're actually experiencing what our partners, within Amazon and other tech companies are experiencing. So when we were riding the wave of Amazon stock 5, 7, 8 years ago, just skyrocketing, it was great, right? We're right there with our peers and others that maybe have invested in Amazon stock, and it's not growing like it used to. It's still doing well, but diversification is key, right? Especially everything in the macro environment. So I think being able to not only invest alongside our peers at Amazon and other tech companies, I think that really sets us apart because it shows that we not only are educating others in what we're doing and what we believe in, but we're investing right alongside them, right? We're investing our own money and selling our own stock to diversify. So I think that's super powerful.
So yeah, one part of it is getting an opportunity, right, to raise and be part of, of a deal. The second part of it is to talk to investors and telling them, hey, this is where we come from and this is what we're going to. Can you share a little bit of your experience on how that happened? Because you guys did an incredible job of raising that first part in a very short period of time. And honestly, a lot of people take a lot of time to raise that kind of money. Even the first time, I think, as I said, when I tried to raise capital, I raised zero, right? So to me, it was like, whoa. I based on my background, I always thought that I could do it, but then it did not happen. But you guys really took it and did it, which is great. But what was going on in your head? What was that feeling? Like, were there any inhibitions? Because there are a lot of people when they're getting started, right? They have all those things. So tell us a little bit as, at least those people who are going to listen to this, I would love to listen to what was going in your head. What was the strategy? How did you guys pull it off?
Very lucky to have the owl alongside. The owl gave a lot of advice, and we have the owl and the cheetah story going on. It all comes down to what we've learned at the end of the day. Knowing your underwriting is an extremely critical part of raising capital. Knowing the story behind why the seller is selling is also very critical. Knowing the where the fat is baked in under promising and over delivering. Therefore, if anything goes wrong, you can still hit pro forma is extremely critical. And then ultimately just being yourself and being genuine. Mike and I have two different strategies. I'm an extrovert. Mike's an introvert. Mike is an owl, and he's very wise. And I play on my strengths for bias for action and just being able to talk to people. But at the end of the day, it comes down to knowing the story of why the deal is great, knowing the market research. Is the median income housing growth growing? Is the job growth growing? Is the population growth growing? What are the migration trends? And then on top of that, once you get into the market, like, is the supply tight? And then knowing the seller's ambitions for selling, when you can put data into a story, that just compounds the effect of being able to speak to people and being genuine. And then, Mike, if you have anything to piggyback onto that, feel free.
No, those are fantastic points. I think the only two I would add is know the background and details of your sponsor and general partners, like what's their track record, right? That was our first deal. So people were putting a lot of faith into us, and we're excited to shamelessly plug that deal is already exceeding pro forma. We weren't expecting any payouts year one, and we're going to do that. So really trusting in your team and knowing your team and their background and their track record's huge. And then the second one is friendly competition. So I think Coop and I have this like yin and yang going on where we're both ultra competitive, but it's all for fun, right? So like anytime he says to me, "Hey, I got another 50K or 100K," I'm like, "Shoot, how do I match that or beat that?" So I think we have a really good thing going on. It's not a negative competition, and he helps get me out of my comfort zone. So here's a fun quote that I think you'll like, Sanjay. "A ship is always safe at the shore, but that is not what it's built for." So that was Albert Einstein, and I think that's just a really good testament to getting out of your comfort zone. So Cooper helped me get there and make that happen, and that's how we were able to close on these raises.
No, that was fantastic, and I can only imagine, it's that was one of my biggest mistakes that I had done when I first did my first raise. I did not capitalize on, and you use the word shamelessly, but honestly, the right word is capitalizing. I did not capitalize on my sponsors, and just because I just thought I could do it on my own, right? But everybody knew that, okay, yeah, Sanjay was great when it came down to being the director of sales or vice president of sales. He was, he did wonderful things, but what does he know about real estate? What does he know about, multifamily and so on? So you guys did a wise thing of going and, uh, piggy riding or cashing on the sponsors and doing the due diligence that was necessary to make you guys successful. So all the right moves, all the right things that you did. But now, one of the things that you keep telling about your Amazonians, right? So one of the things that is very important when you're doing a W-2 job and you're having your own business is time management. So will you be kind enough to tell us a little bit about, time management in multifamily with a full-time job, having a W-2, and how do you guys juggle this? Because we read all about Amazon all the time, and they are not one of those static kind of companies, right? There's a lot of push, push, push. They're like, okay, if you're not a good manager, you get out of this place, kind of a thing. They're letting go of a lot of people out there because they just feel that, and it's all on the topmost thing. But a lot of these other people who are not right in the head office side, but the things that are on the other side of things where they're actually managing to make sure that the shipment is going on time, everything is happening on time. That's a lot of pressure. So
Mhm.
you guys are managing both sides of things very, very well and successfully. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I can take that one, Coop. I think
Go for it.
it's a great question. I think a few things on that topic. Number one, make sure you have a really good team. I think, Sanjay, we've partnered with you on a few deals and it's been incredible. And we have some other really strong partners, and having people you can really lean on and trust is critical, right? If you're having to do everything, it can be very time consuming, right? Like Cooper and I both have long-term rentals, and I can tell you that our time and energy for self-managing those can be just as much or more versus a large-scale multifamily, right? Because you have a good team and a good property manager, and they're taking care of things, right? So I think that's super important. But yeah, there's definitely some late nights, some weekend work that we're doing, but it's fun, right? And I think dividing and conquering amongst Cooper and I helps to achieve that. But that's what I think is super powerful about this is we're a testament that other Amazonians could be general partners, or frankly, if you don't want to work more uh, late nights or weekends, you can always invest passively, right? And I think that's another really good opportunity if you don't want to work those extra hours that Cooper, I, and yourself are putting in, Sanjay.
Okay.
And I'll piggyback. Mike had so many great points right there. He crushed it on that. And for all you basketball fans out there, I'll just steal a Kobe Bryant quote. It's about finding your 4 a.m. And that doesn't mean waking up at 4 a.m. It's about finding your time. So, for instance, you can wake up at 4 a.m. and work till 7 or 8 a.m. and then go to work and then do your job, or it can be it can be vice versa. It can be after your job, or it can be dedicating Saturdays to working, But ultimately, I'm reading a book right now, and it's How to Live an Extraordinary Life. And it's all about balance. So, a few things that my wife and I have implemented uh, just so work doesn't take over life is no phone dinners. We completely give each other attention. We've also implemented on Sundays. We do an activity together. We have a beautiful golden retriever named Ruby, and she's the color ruby. What a coincidence. And we'd either take Ruby on a walk or we'll go get coffee in the morning, but we dedicate time to ourselves because there are extra hours. And for those that want to go far in their career, it provides them passive investments for those that are working the extra hours, just to piggyback on Mike's comments there.
No, that's great. And that's a great thing that what you're doing for fellow Amazonians, right? You're giving them an opportunity to, invest passively and actually let their money work for them instead of them working for their money. So that takes us to the next question that, it's very interesting that you're doing what you're doing. So all these things comes with nurturing, building relationships, investor management, and networking. So tell us some of your secrets about how you manage to do that.
Yeah, I can take that one. Coop, I'll let you talk about the airports. That's your forte. I think in terms of networking, I'll defer to Cooper, but we have some good strategies there. I think using social media is super powerful. A year ago, I was not a social media fan. Now I listen to a podcast talking about LinkedIn strategies. Cooper's really good at X and Facebook. I kind of focus and lean on LinkedIn, and scheduling posts and changing certain times of the day because it can attract certain individuals, I think is super powerful. And not just posting real estate, but posting valuable life lessons and tidbits of info that I think can just be self-help, I think is also important too, right? Anything we can do to try to help motivate people at the end of the day is what we like to do there. But I think other things, Amazon's really big in customer obsession, which is super important on the investor relations side, right? Like I remember when I was in operations, we missed what's called CPTs, critical pull times, where packages wouldn't get delivered on time. We were driving those in our personal vehicle to deliver them to customers. It would be funny. Some people were very appreciative. Some people would be like, thanks, I appreciate it, I guess. Yeah. So I think working in Amazon has been really helpful because it's taught us customer obsession, and we're always focused on the customer, whether that's which deal we're going to go into, continuing to keep investors up to date on the progress of deals is just as important as, introducing yourself and getting to know them at the very beginning. So Cooper alluded to it earlier. We give out swag, and I've been getting texts today from some investors that are, thanks for sending the hat and the polo. Like, we really appreciate the personal note that you sent. So I think just giving those extra touches is super powerful to continue to build those relationships. But I'll defer to Coop for the networking and anything else he wants to add.
Yeah. Depending on your personality, there's going to be different strategies that you can go with. I'm an extrovert, so I thrive. I love talking to people, to be honest. I'm just going to put it down to 3 different examples. I was finishing our basement, and basements aren't common in Tennessee just due to the ground. And I had my garage open. My neighbor walks down, and he goes, "Oh, I knew the old neighbors. There were no walls here." And I said, "Yeah, we're doing a value add right now. We're gonna add value to the property. We're adding a bathroom. We're adding a finished basement, a garage, because it was just one open area." And he goes, "Where'd you get that idea?" And I go, "It's what we do in multifamily." And now he's an investor on one of our deals that we're in together, Sanjay. So that's one example. Another example is I'm pretty competitive in sports. Played football in college, and I even like to get into sports I'm not good at, like tennis. I struggle at tennis, and I'm shamelessly gonna be like I'm gonna be critical of myself. I was just hitting serves, and I ended up playing tennis with someone, and we played tennis. We start talking, and find out that they're the chief of staff for Oracle. One thing leads to another, and now on top of the Amazon connection, we have an Oracle connection. And then the third story is coming back from Orlando on a work trip. Uh, Thunderstorms. I had an ultrasound the next day, and I was honestly very scared that I was going to miss my flight because I was there till 11 p.m. in MCO, the airport. And I was just at the bar talking to people. I don't know who I'm talking to, and we end up talking about a variety of things, and I end up finding I'm with an executive of waste management and on the other side of principal, and very interested in real estate, but they don't have the time, the freedom to really focus on real estate. And now we have a variety of investors, and that spreads word of mouth. So there's different strategies if you're an extrovert or introvert. I think it all just comes down to playing to your strengths, and talking to people and putting yourself out there. It's about failing forward. If you play baseball and you bat 300, which means you hit 3 out of 10 pitches, you're going to the Hall of Fame. So it's a numbers game, and then just being genuine with people, just telling them about when you miss, what you learned, and then what lessons you applied from those misses.
That's a great thing. So now the funniest part always is like, when you start a partnership, right? I can see that you have the yin and the yang kind of a thing working for you guys, right? So
Yeah.
one is, an extrovert, one is an introvert, but at the same time, it's all about how you work together as a team and play to each other's strengths, I would say. So, so how did you guys figure out that your personalities being so different, you could blend it together and make it all work? So how did that happen?
I I think it honestly goes back to Amazon. So we used to work in the same team with Amazon, and we worked under the same senior level leader. So we started figuring out our personalities pretty quickly, and we actually figured out we were meshing pretty well from that perspective. And then we always wanted to do real estate together. We just couldn't figure out what to do. And then I got an ad for multifamily, and I was like, Coop, come on. And he was like, what is this scam? Like, what are you about to take me to? And fast forward to now. So I think short answer is Amazon, and just our working together within Amazon, and finally putting that to the real estate test.
Yeah. Mike and I did, I think it was Fridays, we did coffee chats, and we would dedicate 30 minutes just to talking about single families, Airbnbs, other investments, the bar. We talked shop, and we knew each other from working together. We worked together for almost 2 years in the same org tree, and we felt finally, well, I had no idea what we were going into, but we knew that we would mesh well just based on our personalities, and a dream turned into a reality. Today's practice for tomorrow. Just comes down with that, and then begin with the end in mind.
Yeah. So Michael, you already accepted that you are an introvert kind of a person. So what is your advice or suggestions about those who are introverts who want to get into this industry, try to become successful? What are those principles that you apply and you would suggest to those who are introverts to become successful?
Yeah.
And I will ask the same thing for you, Cooper, right after that. But let me start off with the introvert so that, he gets to
Yeah.
speak.
Start with the introvert. I think, and I kind of touched on this earlier, but just getting out of your comfort zone is huge. I definitely did not want to post my first social media post, but our training really insisted on that, and Cooper did it. So going back to that kind of competitiveness, I was like, all right, I got to do this. So, but honestly, now it's like clockwork, and it's honestly really fun, which is cool because uh, I shared one 2 weeks ago around the 80-20 Pareto principle and how to apply that to your life. And it took off. And the amount of people that have reshared it have said thank you. Like, I did not expect that. But it's just cool that you're, and that gives you some motivation, especially as an introvert, that you're helping others. But I read a Hunter Thompson investor relations capital raising book, and another one that I thought was pretty cool is everyone you meet is an investor or knows an investor. So if you kind of have that mindset, it's super powerful. And at the end of the day, you got to put your plan to action, right? Like, anyone can read the amount of books and learn all the amount of knowledge, but unless you actually put it into action, which is hard for introverts to do, but once you get that engine rolling, it's going to keep going and keep turning. So that would be my feedback to other introverts out there.
So the same question goes to you, Cooper, because every positive thing also has some negatives, right? So yeah, I know you're very extrovert and everything, and you're like as fast as the cheetah and everything is good. But then, it also has certain advantages and disadvantages, right? So to me, it is like the way I look at it is, what did you feel as being the extrovert? And this is a difficult question because the way I always look at it is, for the introvert, it's easier to explain. Like, okay, this is what I did and this is what it is. I was having these challenges, I got over this. But for someone who's an extrovert, there are times when you exceed or you're too fast to say certain things and you are too quick on certain things, which comes with its own challenges. So, um, uh, what do you do as an extrovert, and what is your suggestion to those who are extroverts as to what are the pros and the cons of being an extrovert?
Yeah. The pros are the bias for action, the confidence, the willing to go up to anyone, the game of numbers. It comes naturally, but with that, there are many cons, and I got humbled very quickly actually on our first deal. I talked too fast. I didn't slow down. I acted like I knew everything. And when, hindsight's 2020, it's all about the investor. It's not about you when you're talking to an investor. It's about educating the investor why the deal is good. It's not about getting too excited, which a lot of extroverts, including myself, tend to do. So it's about really documenting every conversation that you have after you have the conversation while it's fresh in your mind, and you reverse engineer it. What went well? What did not go well? Reverse engineer that and apply those lessons learned when you talk to your next investor. And not being too pushy. As an extrovert, you can tend to speak too much because you get very excited in situations. So really just putting the investor at first, being customer centric, which means the investor or the customer, they come first and their education comes first and their questions come first. So just applying all those lessons learned and documenting what you do well, what you don't do well. Those are critical to growth and continuous learning.
So, you use the word lessons learned. So that's a good segue into the next question that I have is like, you guys have been in this business for 10 months now, and in this short 10 months, you guys have closed on multi-million dollar deals. And but I'm pretty sure it was not easy, and there were a lot of lessons learned in the process. So would you guys like to share your lessons learned in this short period of span that you had, but with a lot of this success?
Yeah, I think the the biggest one, and then Coop, I'll defer to you, is Coop kind of touched on it, but don't be a salesman, be an educator. I think being authentic is honestly the biggest thing you can do. And with that, if someone's not interested, that's fine. I think there's this mindset of if someone tells you no, oh, it's not going to work or it's not going to happen, right? Like the best thing you can do is educate somebody, and if they want to do it, great. If not, that's totally fine. But continue to maintain that relationship, because we've had people in our first deal tell us no, and then they invested in our last two or our last one. So I think that's super powerful.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on Mike. Don't take anything personally. Sometimes the timing is just not right for someone. Sometimes the timing is right. Just understand your investor. Really get to know them and care about them and be genuine with them. Really, when you're talking about a deal, like you're trying to help them make passive money and increase the value of their life so they can continue their career while making passive income and then ultimately back-end income, depending on what the back-end strategy of the deal is. So just getting to know your investor and what their goals and what their motives are and trying to help them get there is super critical. And that's been the biggest lesson learned for I think both of us at this point.
So, so you talked about positioning and you talked about, but then it all comes down to is you both have two different styles. So when Mike talks to a certain investor, he has a certain style. When Cooper talks to an investor, there's a certain style. Um, so introvert has a style, extrovert has a style. What are those styles? Like, how does Mike talk to an investor when he talks to an investor? And how does Coop talk when he talks to an investor? I'm pretty sure there is some commonalities. I think the common thing is whatever is in the best interest of the investor. That's the common thing. But then the approaches are different. So would you like to guys talk a little bit about Mike, how you approach versus Coop, how
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I could tell you my calls are probably much shorter than Cooper's. But yeah, I think really get it, like what I like to do is really get to know the individual if I don't already know them. So we're talked a lot about Amazonians, but we also have friends and family that are investing as well, which is super powerful. But if you don't know them, getting to know them a little bit more, getting to know their real estate background, right? Because um, if someone has real estate experience, you don't want to talk to them at the very basic level, because that could, be a little disrespectful as well. So you have to have a little bit of knowledge of their background, why they're interested, right? And then I like to be really, really transparent. I like to, again, this kind of goes back to the education, but um, I like to go through the data, why the property and area is good. There's three things that I'll tell investors from time to time, right? It's like, if you don't invest with us, that's totally fine. But if you do go the multifamily or syndication route in the future, three things to ask: what's the track record of sponsor GPs? Is there any fat baked into the underwriting? Any caution flags, plumbing, et cetera, stuff like that? And what gives that city or area a competitive advantage, or what's promising? So I like to be very direct and tactful from that perspective and talk kind of the numbers. And I think it's been pretty successful so far going that route. But Coop, I don't know your strategy or style.
It's going to sound odd because this is probably the first day in like 5 days I haven't worn a CM Capital shirt or hat. It's because they're all dirty and I haven't done laundry, being vocally self-critical. Uh, so wherever I'm going, I lead with I work for Amazon, and I let the conversation flow and just talk to people and talk about what I do. And we talk about sports, other things we enjoy, traveling, and eventually the conversation comes up: what is CM Capital? And then I go into what CM Capital is, what we stand for. Our colors even have meaning, the blue and the gold. We looked that up and that was very intentional. And I talk about some of the deals that we've had. We have one deal that's paying a dividend right this month, and really tell them about like what to look for in a deal, what to look for in a sponsor, what to look for in GPs. But it sounds very counterintuitive, but I never lead with CM Capital. I just have it on. I lead with I work for Amazon, and eventually CM Capital comes up within the conversation, and then I let the conversation naturally flow from there. And just like Mike, there is some commonalities. Just like Mike, I'm a big fan of educating. Become a big fan of personal growth. Find your 4 a.m. Today is practice for tomorrow. Build child milestones, build monthly milestones, build a 1, 3, 5 year vision, and then build an end goal. So that's how I approach it.
Shameless plug, the blue and the gold for our logo. So blue is trust, security, reliability. Gold is optimism, happiness, and hope. It's kind of
Thank you for bringing that up, because that was my next question to tell me a little bit more about the blue and the gold. So
Yep.
good one on that one.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it was wonderful having you both over here. A lot of questions, but let me ask you this one thing. Like, I can definitely ask you questions about your favorite book. What is that one thing that inspired you and all of those things, like in a book? Um, but I think, what is that one thing that made you guys you in your life?
It's a great question. Coop, I'll let you go first.
you want to take that one, Mike?
I'll let you go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, yeah. I've always had a competitive nature. I've always wanted to be. I'm going to use Kobe Bryant again, just because I like Kobe Bryant. Two, he's very inspirational. When you put your mind to something, you want to be the best at what you do. You want to be competitive. You don't want to be all over the place. You want to have one goal in mind and work your way, reverse engineer that, work your way to be the best at what your end goal is. And that's what motivates me. And real estate, I back in 2020 had a really good year in the stock market and ended up paying the price with taxes. And then I made a goal to myself, how do I make money without avoiding taxes? And I started with 2 Amanda Hahn books and went down the rabbit hole of how you can make money in real estate and you can avoid or mitigate taxes. And one thing led to one single family rental, led to an Airbnb, led to multifamily. One thing led to another. But what motivates me the most is freedom of time. I've always dreamed of being able to be the football coach for my son someday, or being able to go to my daughter's dance recital, and then being able to have my family and my loved ones be financially free, being able to provide for them if anything happens, like worst case scenario. So that's what motivates me during the day and at night. And I continuously try to learn to better myself each and every day. And it's been working for me so far.
Mike?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Cooper said. I think short answer would be time and financial freedom, obviously, for my family, but just being the best version of myself in kind of a competitive lens. So in high school, it was sports, right? In college, it was the best internship or getting the best job offer. In Amazon, it was how do I keep moving up and growing and learning? Now in real estate, it's all right, how do you become the best investor relations capital raiser you can be? but also personal life. How can I be the best husband? How can I be the best father to my kids? Like, I think continuing to have that competitive edge in all facets of life is just kind of something that I know Cooper is the same way, is kind of ingrained in us. So we're fortunate enough to be that way, and anyone can get that competitive, right? You just have to change your mindset and be able to make it happen.
That's great. So, when you have partners, you always have people that there is it's two different personalities. So, Coop, tell me one thing that you really love about Mike and one thing that you feel that he could improve on.
Love this question. This goes back to the story of the cheetah and the owl. And if folks don't know that, Google Jim Quick. There's 4 different personalities. What I really love about Mike is he's an owl. He is the wisdom to this. I am often too fast to speak, too fast to take action. And Mike will text me or call me and say, "Hey, Coop, let's think about this." And more often than not, Mike's right. His wisdom is there. His age is there. He's got me by a couple of years.
Yeah, you'll get here in a couple of
He
years.
had to
Don't
bring
worry.
that in, didn't he?
Yeah, he was waiting for it. You'll have this
I,
wisdom in a couple of years from now. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. I waited till the ending. And then there's nothing wrong with Mike. If I had to give an opportunity for Mike, and this is opportunity for both of us, by the way. We started off very archaic in our ways of investor relations. We started off with an Excel spreadsheet, and that was super time consuming. And what we learned, I've been bringing up lessons learned and then applying those lessons learned is we got a CRM and we automated that. So instead of like putting in people's names, phone numbers, emails, we got a CRM to automate that. Next, what we still need to do is get a landing page where folks can see that. We still have a lot of things to do. And honestly, this was supposed to be an opportunity on Mike, but I'm the cheetah. I should be the bias for action. So this is on both of us as we're a partnership. But I'll let Mike give his segment on me. I know he has some things to say.
No, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like Coop makes a lot of things in CM Capital happen. CM Capital would not be here today if it wasn't for Coop and how fast he moves and the cheetah that he is. Having said that, there's obviously some things that I tell him, hey, let's pull the reins back a little bit. And so there's the opportunity. He knows that. And I think that's what's good about our relationship is we're constantly giving each other real-time feedback. So what he said to me is not a surprise and vice versa. But I think the most powerful thing is we have each other's backs. He had something personal going on, earlier this year. I covered down and helped out where needed. I had something recently kind of happen going on in my life, and he helped cover down. So I think I'm always going to be grateful for Coop from that perspective, and I know he feels the same for his side. So
You said it very well. Likewise, great partner, Mike.
No, this was a pleasure. I enjoyed having this conversation with both you, Mike, and Coop. I know we can go on for hours, but we got to come to an end. Every good thing comes to an end. So should this podcast. But I do appreciate you guys taking your time to come on the podcast and talking very candidly about not only your relationship as partners, but talking about how you manage the work, to W2 as well as your passion, as well as your family, because that's one of the things that a lot of people struggle. They try to figure out, okay, I have my W2 and they do have this in their mind that they want to do something, but they don't know how. So I think you guys gave a lot of insights into that one. It was nice to hear that two people who are indifferent, like one is very, very bubbly and chippy. The other guy is a very silent guy, but they both work together in tangent and make it. And both of you have made CM Capital so very successful. So I definitely, I've been very fortunate to work with both of you guys, and been feel very blessed to be, sitting with you guys and breaking bread many a times and having a drink or two with Cooper. And Mike doesn't drink a whole lot, anyways. So, you know,
It's the couple years older. So give Coop a few years. He might not be there anymore.
I
Few
don't know about
years
that.
older.
I'm older than both of you guys, but it's okay. That didn't stop me, but it's okay. Thank you guys for getting on this call and being on the REI Secrets Spilled Fast Track to Riches, where we are very, very transparent, and we talk about anything and everything that is related to the successes, failures, pros and cons of partnerships or opportunities and this business itself in a whole. So thank you very much for being on this.
Thank you for having us on, Sanjay. We're both very grateful to know you as a person, to know you as a partner. You've been very inspirational in our lives. So just a big thank you, Sanjay.
Yep.
Always
Plus
a
one to
pleasure.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.